Hi, this is Simon Chan. Welcome to my No BS, No Hype network marketing training. One of the common questions I get always is how do I rank events? And especially from people who have become a silver director and they want to go to the gold director. Because the gold director is really like the first prestigious level where you get a leadership bonus, you get a lot of incentives, and really establish you as like a full-time leader. So I get this question all the time, and this lesson really, it applies to even people who are just going for any rank advancement. And I just want to share with you one of the amazing success stories. One of the things I enjoy and love about this business is to help others. When you have success, it feels good. But when you're able to help and guide someone and help them overcome challenges, it's really, really good feeling watching people to grow. That's my passion. That's the reason I love. That's why I do these trainings. I help out. I just love, just watching people grow. And, recently, one of my mastermind, 5-star mastermind members, Aimee Buhagiar from Sydney, Australia, ranked advanced to gold. And we had her on one of our mastermind calls in which she shared her how she made it. It was like a 30-minute interview, and it is so inspiring that I want to share with everyone else, because everyone out there needs to hear this and what it takes to get to the level, what it takes to become successful. Now, I didn't do it for her. I gave her some pointers. I, gave her some support, gave her some advice, but she did everything. And it's an amazing, amazing story. Shows you the commitment, what it takes to sacrifice, how to be creative, what she did. So go, it's like about 30 minutes. Go listen to this. It's very, very inspiring. It's, after we did the interview, we had mastermind members that went back and re-listened to it a couple of times. Some of us went to prospect right away. Even myself, it was late at night here in Los Angeles when we did the interview. But I even went on and messaged some of my old prospects. Very, very inspiring. Go listen to this. Aimee Buhagiar, again, I'm super proud of you. Tremendous potential. And I can't wait for you to meet you guys down in Sydney. But everyone pay attention to this, because this is what it takes to get to the next level.
How are you guys?
Good, good. So first of all, congratulations.
Thanks, Simon. And thank you all you guys for all your messages and everything. Trying to go on and, thank everyone individually. I really appreciate you guys and all the messages and all the support. And you guys really pushed me and kept encouraging me, during my run as well.
So why don't you start off and, well, first of all, how do you feel? How does it feel to be gold? Or are you bored of it already and ready to go on?
Yeah, I'm bored already. Yeah, we're planning Ruby. We're planning Ruby now because the
Awesome.
momentum's there. So some of the team didn't hit their ranks and they still want to run. So I thought, well, we might as well just keep going because the momentum's
Yes.
there.
Good.
So
So,
yeah, so we're planning to do that soon. And I mean, like Simon, obviously, at the beginning of my run, it was a bit challenging and I wasn't sure whether to keep running. But, I spoke to Simon and I actually spoke to Michael Calais as well. And they gave me different ideas, well, I lost my grandmother on the first day of my run. And I thought maybe, it would be disrespectful for me to run because a lot of my family are in my team and I didn't want, I wanted to give my family time to grieve. But at the same time, my mum said to me, you should do this for your nan. And then when my mum said that, that's when I realized that it's not for me, it's for a greater cause. And then that's when I had that motivation to keep going and to make the decision. I made the decision I'm going to run no matter what challenges happen. And so Simon helped me a lot because, he was talking to me about, the flip side. I should ask my team what they would like to do. And that's what I did. And they said that they wanted me to run. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still in a bit of shock, but at the same time, yeah, Simon, you're right. We're bored already. We just want to keep going because it was so fun.
yeah,
It
well,
was so
let's, we just talked about to everyone about in order to be successful, you got to experience either personal financial setback, huge setback, or personal tragedy. And that's like, I know when your grandmother passed away, that was like, right before the run. I think I shared the story before with you when my laptop crashed the night before. But here you have something even way, way, way worse. But you were able to stick with it, which is incredible. But let's start off before. Let me ask you, what is your vision Actually, why did you join the business, network marketing? Because some people don't know all your background. Tell them, your background, what you went to school for, and how did you even come to network marketing?
I started with Usana 3 years ago. I started as a product user. I actually didn't sign up with the person that introduced me to Usana. So I had a really bad wrist injury. I had tendinovitis in my wrist. I used to do personal training and body pump. I don't know if you guys know what body pump is, but it's, weight training. And I used to teach classes. And I was in my 4th year of uni studying to be a PE teacher, like teaching physical education and English. And I hurt my wrist. And at that point, I was like, wow, I've made it. I've got 1 year left, but I've hurt my wrist at a time where I can't type. I couldn't drive. It hurt me to pick up a glass. That would hurt me. And so they told me they wanted to operate, but I was 25 years old. I'd already had my wisdom teeth out, and I've been through operations, for my throat, for my tonsils, and I didn't want them to operate. One of the boys at the gym where I was working, he told me, why don't you try Usana? And at first I thought, I felt like, he's just probably trying to sell me something, because we're always advertising to us all the time. But he was in his 50s and I trusted him, and he kept bugging me every day. And I was like, you know what, Jules, just give it to me, because I was desperate. He got me at a point where I was desperate. I really wanted to fix up my wrist. So I started taking the products, and within maybe the first couple of weeks, I noticed that I was going to the toilet more, and that's something that I'd struggled with a lot. I couldn't go to the bathroom, and I trained a lot, and I ate a good diet, and I didn't understand that. And I'd been to different doctors, so I noticed that, and I noticed that my energy went up, and I was sleeping better, and I wasn't stressed. Then a couple of months down the track, my wrist started to get better. I started lifting weights in the gym again. I went back to the specialist, and she said, I don't think we're going to need to operate. And for me, that was huge. And it was at that point in my life, I was buying the Usana products retail off a member at the gym. He used to just give them to me, and I used to give him some cash. And I didn't even know you could become a member. I didn't know that there were preferred customers or associates. I just got it from him. And I sort of felt so good that I wanted to give it to my mum, because her arthritis was so bad, and my grandmother was really, really sick as well. And so my mum was a nurse. She didn't want to know about Usana, but she's Maltese. So I offered to pay for it. And being Maltese, she said yes, because that's how Maltese are, So I paid for it for my mum, and then we saw results with her arthritis. And then it was sort of like I was working maybe 70, 80 hours a week. I was working during the day as a teacher. I'd work Monday to Friday, 8 to 3, and then at night I'd work, say, 3:30 to 10:30. And I did this for 2 years. I went 6 months without having a day off. I worked a lot because my parents always taught me that you've got to work hard. That's how you get ahead. They had a business, but they encouraged me they were happy for me to do whatever I wanted. It was at that point that I sort of hit rock bottom. I was working so hard. I was so tired, and I just felt like my life wasn't going anywhere, because all I'm doing is working. I don't see any of my friends. There's no permanent jobs. There's no, there was really, for me, I felt like there was no hope, because there was no permanent jobs. And when I had a lot of clients at the gym, and they were asking me, your wrist got better, what did you do? I started to share Usana with them. I went to a training at the head office, and I met some of the young people that, had achieved success, but a lot of them were Asian. And, this is negative, but I'll just tell you, I was like, I don't think I can do that, because they're all Asian, and they've made it, and blah, blah, blah. I'll just be honest with you. So I sort of shut that out and said, I don't think I can do this. Maybe I can earn maybe a couple of $100 a week, but I don't think I'd be able to do what they do. And then I sort of kept struggling with the working, and I got to a point where I was like, I've had enough. I want to see if I can push Usana more. And it was about maybe a year and a half ago that I started doing the business. So I signed up with my girlfriend. She saw the Usana products in my handbag, and she's like, I didn't know you take Usana. She's like, why don't you do the business? And she's Asian. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. What do I do? And so I signed up that night. So I didn't actually sign up with the person that showed me Usana, because they didn't tell me there was a business. They just gave me the products. I probably would have, but they didn't tell me. So I signed up with my girlfriend, and I started just sharing, just generally. I got a few customers here and there, and then I really wanted leaders, but I felt like it was taking so long to get those leaders. Maybe it took me I think it took me a year to get, or maybe 9 months or something to go builder. So I felt like I took a long time to do that because I have some people in my team that did it in 3 days recently in my run. So I felt like that took me so long, you know. But then I wasn't really that serious about the business because I was still working so many hours. So it was like last year, the end of last year, was it the beginning? 2000 and, what are we, 12? 2011, the end of it, I decided to give up my job. I was only a builder, but I was like, I wanted to make USANA work, and I knew that time. I didn't have much time. So I thought, why keep working when I know that eventually I'm going to give up my job once my income comes from USANA? Why prolong my pain? So I thought, well, I'd rather be on a building income and know that I'm building my fortune and my future than continue working and trying to build USANA on the side. So I just gave it up, and I didn't have any money in the bank. I had $10,000, and I kept using that as a backup. Well, if USANA doesn't work, I've got that money. But then I realized that was what was holding me back, because I knew I had a plan B, and I wasn't going, with my plan, which was to make USANA work. So I went to a personal development course. I went to T Harv Eker, Quantum Leap, and some of the boys from USANA bought the course, the $10,000 course, and I was like, I just quit my job and I only have 10 grand, and they're like, come on, you should do it. So I spent that 10 grand on the course. So I had no money, and I had to just try and get a believer check the next week. So I had no choice but to make that income, like the believer check. So I worked out I had to get rid of all my money, and I had to get rid of my job to push me, this is just me, to where I needed to go, because I kept relying on my income from my job and my savings. So I've been doing USANA full-time for a year now. And, this run has really, I think the biggest thing that I've learned from it is that I was always worried about, like, what presentation should I use, or should I do one-on-ones? Should I do a home meeting? We haven't done any home meetings this whole run. It was just all one-on-ones. We had one, with Josie Tong, we did a couple of health and freedoms at the USANA head office. And I guess what I've learned is that it doesn't matter what you do, like, you just need to do it. And it's like Simon talks about, it's massive action. Like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't wash my clothes for 4 weeks. Like, we were just so busy, and I didn't even, I put it in quickly, chuck in the dryer, or I, do something like that, because we were so busy. And we had a goal, the team had a goal. I had a goal to do 3 appointments on my own, because I knew that if my team didn't hit their ranks, that the volume had to come from somewhere. And so I wanted to make sure that I had that volume there. And it wasn't just losing, my grandma. We had a few other challenges as well during the run. I felt like all my challenges in my life came during my run. Simon told me that I'd get sick. He told me that I'd get sick if I, didn't do certain things. And so he was right. I got sick in week 3. I got pretty sick, and I thought I had fevers and muscle aches, and I was, trying to double dose on my USANA, but I'd already missed it a couple of days because so I guess I was talking to Paula Gosney from New Zealand, and I was saying to her, this sounds so silly, but I'd recommend anyone that goes on a run to double dose on their USANA a week before, and to make sure you have plenty of Rev available, like all the time, because we were just living off Rev the whole time. And we just, so, and even another thing was credit cards. I mean, I had a lot of people sign up that didn't have the money, so I made sure that my credit card was topped up so that they, in Australia, we can put it on our cards for the first order. And I think that's a really important point, because you don't want to be in a position where you only need another 400 points and that person doesn't have the money and you haven't topped up your credit card. So I thought maybe, I'm going to need to buy points or something. I know people do that on their runs. I never did that on my silver run, and I was determined that I didn't want to do that on my gold run. So we made sure that we kept pushing through, and I just made sure that, if someone didn't have the money, I put that on my card, and we pushed them so that they would get their first check, so make sure that they, fix me up and pay me back and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing for me, when I go rubies, I'm going to make sure that I take extra USANA. I'm going to maybe pay someone to wash my clothes or something so that I have more time, because I was talking to Simon about my time. And I think I wrote down some stuff that I also learned from the run. One of the things that we did, because when I was talking to Pam from corporate, she said to me, oh, you should run in your week. But the date that I'd chosen, it was my strong week. So I finished in the last week, I only had like 300 points on my left and 500 on my right. And I was looking at it and I'm like, I don't know how we did the other 3 weeks, but we did it. So we're going to do this week. That's what we had. So I actually knew that the next week was my strong week, which was the week that I started on. And I knew I had at least, 1,000 points in auto ship that were coming next week. So what we did was we called all our team members and we asked them to put their auto ships on hold. Obviously, we did it in a way that wasn't affect their business, and them to do a shopping cart, and then that gave me 1,000 points. So we just started to get really creative. We did a health event. We've never done a health event before where, I just spoke about nutrition and weight loss, and we got about 47 people attended. A lot of them were associates, but every person that came signed up, like as a customer. We didn't show the business and they still signed up on 200 points, sometimes even for the business. So I think we got really creative during our run. And some of the other stuff that I wrote down that I learned as well was, like we did an online meeting. We did an online health and freedom. I've never done that before because my business went into LA and California in the first week. And then in the second week, it went into Queensland and Perth. So what we did was we got GoToMeeting, like, how Simon does these, and we just did the online presentation. And we got sign-ups out of that. And I didn't have to leave home. I've never done that before, and I probably wouldn't have pushed myself to do that because I kept telling myself, oh, yeah, Simon must know all this fancy technical stuff and know how to run all of this. But I got to a point where I was like, I have no choice. I have to do this online presentation because we need numbers and we're running out of time. So the online health and freedom was really effective. And then Michael Kaleas gave us the one that he uses in the US. So when we're presenting to the US people, we could use that one. And Paula Gosney's offered, her New Zealand one. So I think it's good to have that so that if you're in international markets, you can use their presentation rather than one that you have. And just, incentives as well. So risk and reward, kind of like I learned some of this from Tony and Tammy Dorm, and you guys have probably heard it from Simon as well. So putting out risk and reward for the team. So my team, anyone that hits builder and above, they're getting like some of the leaders set rev. If you hit, you're going to buy me a rev, or I'm going to buy you a rev, and $100 bonus or whatever they did. But, Gucci ties, Michael Kaleas told me that this is what he does for his team. Anyone that hits builder and above gets a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci tie or a Ferragamo belt. And the reason he said he does this is because we're running a business and we need to look sophisticated and we need to look money. And so rather than giving an incentive of like, I thought about giving products so that it would help them with their business. If we can give them something that they can use that makes them feel better about themselves, but then in addition lifts their profile. And so anyone that went builder above, they're actually getting that. And I think those incentives are really, really important. And I was talking, I don't know if I was talking to you, Simon, about the rank advancements. No, I was talking to Paula about them in New Zealand. And she asked me how many people ranked in the first week. And we had one sharer. That was it. One sharer. So, and and then in a couple of weeks after, we had a couple of builders and 2 directors and things like that. And it just made me realize that this is easy. It's not hard. The problem is that we just don't do enough. Like when I look at what I've done in the last month, I've done more in the last month than I have in the last 6 months. I'll be honest with you, I have. So, and that's obviously combined with what Simon was teaching us about time management. I knew I spent too much time on Facebook. I knew I don't watch TV, but I knew I was always looking at my Facebook, and so I know now that if you guys really want it, we just need to apply ourselves and we need to think creatively and we need to just get, let's always talk about getting out of your comfort zone, but really just get out. Like we go to shopping centers. We've started going Thursday nights and Sundays and we just walk up to people and I'll say, hi, my name's Aimee. I'm building my business in the local area and I'm looking for people that want to earn extra income, or if they look like someone that might want to travel, I just try and make that junction really quickly. People that want to travel or people that, want to earn extra income or people that want to own their own business, is that something you'd be open to, or have you ever thought about owning your own business? And then we try and book appointments like that day. Okay, so what time is your lunch break? Or do you have Facebook? Could I get you on Facebook? And then we'd go back the next week to the city and then we, have a full day just of appointments that were from cold people. So we did a lot of cold prospecting, but I think that the online presentations played a massive part because we created a flyer that was for the online presentation that was, you know, health and freedom. And so what we did with that flyer was we just said, hey, look, we're having this. It's online. You don't have to leave home. We sold all the benefits of being at home and looking at a business. And from there, people are happy to log on because they don't have to leave. And then I've also learned to use the go-to meetings for trainings as well. So yeah, so I've learned a fair bit over the last couple of weeks, and I just think that the most important thing that we need to do is not worry, you know, what Simon says before. Don't worry about how, just worry about why you're doing it. But at the same time, if you just apply yourself, and if you just go, like if one person contacts 10 people and you contact 30, like do more than the person next to you, you know, like just do more. And so like it would be for me 2 o'clock in the morning and I was still writing in my diary, and I was still, because I knew, I was like, I'm the type of person, my uni assignments were done 2 weeks before they were due. So this run was a bit challenging for me because I don't like to be under pressure. I prefer to have things done in advance. I like to be organized. But it also taught me as well that, you know, sometimes you have to work under pressure, and you can work the best because that's when you push yourself the most. And so when we got to that last week, I was looking at it, and I was looking at Trent, one of my team members, and he's extremely optimistic, and a lot of my team were like pushing me, and a lot of you guys are writing to me on Facebook here and there, and that was like pumping me up. So I think it's really important as well that when someone goes on a run that we contact them, like Simon was contacting me every couple of days to see how I was going, and that helped me because I knew, you know, someone's thinking about me. They know that I've done this, and they believe that I can do it. And so when you guys go on your goal runs, like important for us to do that for each other and contact each other and motivate each other and, you know, encourage each other, because anyone can do this. My auto ship volume started on like 1,000 points each side every week. The only difference was that we pumped the team up, and the leader sets the pace. You know, that's what we learn in all this personal development. I made sure that I was sponsoring. I sponsored 7 people last week. It's not huge, but, you know, it's in 1 week. And, you know, maybe 1 week I didn't sponsor anyone, but I made sure my team knew that I was prospecting, that I was out there, and that I wasn't just seeing what they were doing, that I was actually getting signups myself. And so they can see you on the chart. They can see, yeah, you know, she's number 2, or she has sponsored people. And when they see, you know, a bit of volume coming in, I would say, look, I put 4 people in your business. You got to get, like, if you get 4 more people, you're going to get $290 this week. So if you're, like, I found that the more I sponsored, the better it made it because they had a bit of volume coming in on one side, and they just needed to do a little bit to push for the other side. And so we had a bit of forms in the beginning. We had maybe, like, I had personally created about 1,000 points a week before we started. And I had a few forms that were sort of sitting there, but I did what Simon taught me. I introduced them to the team on Facebook. I started training them. I sent them Simon's fast track training, so they'd all done that. And I found that worked really well, you know, because Simon was explaining the benefits to me of holding forms off and the disadvantages of them, you know. And so I was like, I knew that I sort of needed to hold some forms off, but I was thinking about ways that it would benefit the person. And so these people, it benefited them because they'd already had some training. They already knew how to form people. They already knew how to invite them. And in their first week, they were going builder. So whilst I was thinking, if I hold the forms off, it's going to be not good for these new people because they can't get started and all of that, Simon said to me, start training them. You know, start training them and make them feel part of the team. You know, and so some of those people, they aren't with me now, but, you know, I told Trent, I said, you know, there was one point where, you know, we rely on people sometimes, and I said to him, I don't care who's with me on the run in terms of my leaders. I'm going to make it happen if they're with me or they're not. And then that's when I just, for myself, I really picked up, you know, like what Simon says, prospecting, our 5-3. I was doing more than that. You know, I was doing a lot more than that and just trying to work out how can we get more online training and, you know, online presentations. Could you imagine if you did one online presentation 3 times a week? Like, we did our first one on my run and we got 6 signups. So I've learned so much from it, and I'm really thankful that Simon you know, he was there for me and that he kept pushing me forward and he gave me both sides of, you know, whether I should run or whether I shouldn't. And I'm so glad that I did, because now I have so many young people that are coming to me saying, well, you've done it, so now I feel like I can do it. And I'm really thankful to you guys for your support, because a lot of you were writing to me. Even I know it was like 4 o'clock where you were, and I think it was Mexico G. And, you know, we were still writing to each other. And I thought, you know, at one point I thought I can't wait for this to be over. But at the same time, I love the thrill, guys. It's so fun. I don't know if you like adrenaline, but I love adrenaline. And that's what I felt like you get when you go on the run. So, and thank you to Simon for actually allowing me to share my story and to you know, to share, you know, all of this amazing experience. It's been amazing. I can't wait for you guys to run. It's so fun. It's like unlike any experience in USANA you ever have.
Thank you so much for sharing. Well, there's so many lessons there. I just wrote, I mean, I don't know if you guys, I was just taking notes too, getting inspired. I took a whole bunch of notes. You know, I think the thing that Aimee did that a lot of people ask me is, how do you motivate downlines? Or how do you grow your business, right? And the thing is, you got to lead by example. People buy you, people follow you. Her downlines got going because Aimee was going crazy, right? It's crazy. Didn't do laundry for 4 weeks. But those, you know, those are the sacrifices that you have to make. When we talk about, like, you know, sometimes you hate the business. You go so much, you have to hate the business. That's when you know you're working, right? Like, you know, Aimee got sick. She wasn't sleeping much. I was messaging her, like, what are you doing? Like, what time is it in Sydney right now? Right? She's still up. But that's what it takes. But leading by example, a couple specific examples. I mean, she's doing the 5, I mean, maybe not 5-5-3. She's doing 10-10-6, right? A couple examples I wrote down, and I wanted to make sure you guys pay attention to what she said. Number one was her commitment to self-development. Right? It all started with the $10,000. People think she's crazy and nuts to put the $10,000 that she had into. But you know what? The people that think she's nuts, they're the one who's not successful, right? Everyone. She put her $10,000 to the seminar, but that was the thing that turned her around, right? So that's one lesson. Another thing is like burning your ships. Most people, it's like there's no plan B. Right? There's no plan B. You have to go out there, and just like she just quit her job, right? I think I shared a story with you before where I just decided that I didn't do my. I turned down the job at the big sports agency, right? With this guy, Yi Jianlian, right? It's just huge things where you have to go out because, like we're talking about, there's no try. There's no plan B. Because if there's a plan B, the human nature, you always go back, take the easy route. I mean, why did Over say she never did an online webinar? Now she's doing GoToMeeting, right? Because there's urgency. We operate, you know, we talked about a couple calls ago where our human brains are only meant for 4 things, right? The 4 Fs. Remember that? We talked about 4 Fs. It's fight, you have to fight, flight, to escape, food, and to fornicate, which is have sex, right? That's the only thing our brains are meant for. So when we have urgency, our brains naturally will not go and do something. But when we have an urgency, so that's why rank advancements, because you have a huge urgency, it's a deadline, the clock is ticking, every minute counts. You're in this urgency mode. When you have no plan B, you're forced to go out there and make it happen. So that's the second, burning your ships, right? No plan B. Using the deadline, pushing yourself, right? Shonda, to do a GoToMeeting, you can sign up for a webinar. Just go to gotomeeting.com to find out how to set it up, right? I didn't know how to do GoToMeeting. Just go there and learn. Aimee didn't know anything. I didn't. I say there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it for Skype or do GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting is better because you can do slides. And now online, you can find anything. So she went online. She figured it out. By the way, those are the leaders you want in your business. Right? I didn't have to babysit Aimee. Okay, you go there to the website, you go log in, just go to GoToMeeting, figure it out. The leaders, that's when you know you have a leader. They'll go there, you may give them some guidance, and then they will figure it out. Couple of other things, like the creativity, right? When we're forced in the deadline, all of a sudden our brains, it's like the fight or flight. It's like our humans. All of a sudden, you'll be creative. So what do? We do incentives, the rev incentive, right? It's a great idea. Then she starts contacting, again, the mastermind, meeting successful people, talk to Callejas, talk about the Gucci belts. Okay, that's, again, goes back to what we just talked about before about programming, brainwashing. They're always experiencing negative things with their friends, their family, whatever. So you got to fight that. Give motivation, or just like wearing a belt, a nice, Gucci belt, makes them think that they're in business again. It's a constant battle, motivation, right? They're getting demotivated when they watch TV, do other things. So you got to remotivate them. So let's see. So many things, so many good things there. Self-development, and just do busy, right? Just do it. You just got to go out and do it. Go out, do it, be busy. And she said it's so fun, right? It was stressful. You want to be over, but at the same time, it's more fun. And you grew more, and you did more in the 4 weeks than you did in the previous 6 months. And that's what it takes to be successful. The last lesson is the original sponsor, right? It's like that's one of the deadly mistakes we talked about. You got to talk to everyone about the business. You never know who's not going to be interested in the business. Right? You never know who's not going to be. If that person that told Aimee about a business, he could have a gold director in his business, but he didn't. Why? How come he didn't? And also, people buy you. People always buy you, right? Aimee didn't buy him, right? Also, the guy didn't share about the business. He's not convicted. Remember we talked about this training. We talked about you have to be convicted. The people know that you're in network marketing. He wasn't convicted. So you lose people. People always buy you. That's why you always, every day, you got to be working on your leadership. As you grow as a person, growing through self-development. Just in the short time, like I met Aimee in convention last year, and that was only like 8 months ago. She's grown tremendously, right? Tremendously from the time I met you at the bus, going from the opening ceremony there. So she's grown a lot. But that's again of going to events. But that's what going to events is so important. At that event, we're at the back of the bus. She said that's when we connected. And then she connected again. And when we went to Red Rock, she could have done other things when partying, but she showed up. I offered, Maria was there. PK was there, right? She showed up at Red Rock. She could have done other things, but she was there learning. And learning from Nancy on was there. That's what it takes, doing the one extra thing that most people will not do, staying out late. Last thing I want to end, that's really inspiring. I really recommend you guys to listen to this again. One last thing, Aimee, I'm going to unmute you, is what is your vision? And you probably have to mute your other computer. You have to mute your other computer.
What was that, Simon?
Okay. What is your vision for your business? What do you plan to take this?
Okay, our team's vision is to create an international family that's united by one vision, which is Dr. Wentz's vision. So my plan is to go Ruby before International, and Emerald by December, and then Diamond by convention next year. I know that's huge, but I know that my team's with me, and I know that it's up to me. If I make that decision to do it, then it's on me. So I wanted my business to be international. I always wanted it to be interstate. I have a vision as well to travel the world with USANA, kind of like Simon and Michael and all the other leaders do. So USANA to take me to other countries. And also I'm really passionate about health. So this last health event that we did, I'm also passionate about, like, some people know, but I'm a vegetarian and I'm quite passionate about animals and stuff like that. So I don't know how, but I have a vision for other things as well. So I know that I need to create a massive income to do the things that I want to do and to change the world in the way that I want to change it. And I know my mum often used to say to me, "Oh, Aimee, like, I don't know why you're worried about these animals here." But I always think maybe I can change the life of one animal or one person. So so I have a vision to travel around the world and to help other people. And now that I see all the leaders have helped me get where I want to get, I want to give back, and I want to help other people go gold. So that's what I want to do.
That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing. That's the best part of this business. We're in the profession to help others. So we got to go out there and make an impact on someone's life today. I think that's it. I know, Aimee, you got to go. We're over on time, but that's very, very inspiring. Go out there, everyone go back and listen to this call again. For those who are in Asia, you guys are lucky. Or I'm so pumped. I want to call prospects, right? For those who are out in Asia, go call some. You're motivated. Use that motivation to call people, because people can hear that passion in your voice. So go out there. For those who are in the U.S., go find someone in Hawaii that's still up and you can call them. So thank you again, Aimee. We're really proud of you. Keep up the momentum. We want to see you keep. If you need anything, you know how to reach us. But thank you again for sharing. We are really, really proud of you. Especially, I think what you share is just only 1/10 of the stuff that you shared with me, the challenges you had. But trust me, she had a lot of other personal things that we didn't even have time to talk into. But it just goes back to, if you want to be successful, is the challenges that make it. They don't break you. They may break you temporarily, but you learn. I'm sure you'll learn more about yourself and how to handle these situations. So when something like this comes up again, it'll be a piece of cake, right? And that's part of your growth. So congrats again. It's really very, very inspiring. So was that inspiring or what? I mean, wow, the lessons you learned from here. Aimee is a tremendous leader. Has got a huge, bright future ahead of her. There's so many things you can learn from that. I hope you took down notes, write down a few things you learned, and think about what things you learned from Aimee could you apply to your business today. Think about that. And if you just worked on one or two little things, and the business is not going to be easy. It's so small little tests that will make you develop as a character, make you the winner. And you can do it because, Aimee wasn't a fast starter herself, right? So think about what you need to work on and go work on those areas and apply it. And if you need to go listen to it again, it's very inspiring. But go apply what you learned, and then so that you can rank advance, you can be the next store director. Okay, this is Simon Chan, and remember, we are the profession to help others. So go out there and have a positive impact in someone's life today. God bless you all.